Let me tell you something that most people are too afraid to say out loud. You are wasting your life. Not in some abstract, spiritual sense, but in a real, measurable, biological way. Every time you sit alone in your room, pull out your phone, click that same tab, and give in to that same impulse, you are training your mind to settle for less. For illusion instead of reality, for temporary pleasure instead of long-term strength. You think it's just a harmless habit. You tell yourself it's natural, that everyone does it, that it's better than chasing someone who doesn't love you. But deep down, you know the truth. You feel emptier afterward. Every time. It's not just about sex. It's about energy, identity, confidence, purpose. Because when you trade your time, your focus, your strength, for 30 seconds of numb release, you're not just releasing fluid, you're releasing drive. You're releasing the primal fuel that powers ambition, courage, and creation. That stuff isn't just for reproduction. It's a chemical cocktail that sharpens your vision, amplifies your masculinity, and locks your mindset into warrior mode. What if I told you that every man who ever accomplished something great, every leader, champion, artist, conqueror, knew how to direct that same energy you're wasting into something unstoppable? That your body isn't just wired for sex, it's wired for legacy, And every time you click that video, you are making a decision to stall that destiny. Your future self is watching. The one who built something, stood for something, became someone. And every time you give in, that version of you gets dimmer. Let's be honest. How many times have you said that this is the last time? How many nights have you sat in shame afterward, thinking what's wrong with me? Nothing is wrong with you. You're not broken, but you are stuck, and there is a way out. But it starts with seeing it for what it really is. Because this isn't just about lust, it's about control. It's about whether you are in command of your mind or whether you've become a puppet to your urges. You were not born to be ruled by a screen. You were not born to be a consumer of pixels and performers. You were born to be a force, a creator, a builder, a protector, a man. Every empire in history was built on the ability to delay gratification, to channel energy into action instead of instant pleasure. Look at the monks, the warriors, the CEOs, the artists who make history. They don't just abstain for moral reasons. They do it because it gives them edge, clarity, focus, power. If you've ever wondered why you feel so drained after watching porn, why your motivation crashes, why your social confidence shrinks, why your eyes can't meet others, it's because you're living in a false reward loop. Your brain gets flooded with dopamine for doing nothing, for earning nothing, and over time it becomes numb. You need more and more to feel less and less. That's not pleasure. That's slavery. But here's the twist. You can flip that switch. Right now inside you is a version of yourself that is disciplined, magnetic, alive. He's already there. But he's buried under the debris of cheap dopamine and broken promises. And the only way to meet him is to take your power back. You don't need a 30-day challenge. You need a revolution. You need to look yourself in the mirror and say, I am done being average. You need to make a decision that the next time that urge comes, you're not going to obey it. You're going to stand still, let it pass, and feel your brain sharpen. You're going to sit in that discomfort like a soldier in training, because on the other side of that urge is growth, and every time you resist it, you grow stronger, not just mentally, not just emotionally, biologically. Your testosterone climbs, your voice deepens, your spine straightens. Your mind focuses. You start noticing the world differently. People notice you differently. Have you ever walked into a room after a week of retention and seen how people look at you? There's something in your aura that changes. You radiate calm, presence, command, not because of magic, but because you're full of the very essence of masculine vitality. You're no longer leaking your power. You're containing it. And people feel that. But you have to want it more than you want that temporary hit. You have to look at your future, your goals, your dreams, and ask yourself, is this habit getting me closer to them or further away? Every action is a vote. Every choice is a step. And there are no neutral decisions. You are either building your strength or draining it. Think of the hours you've already given to this habit, the days, the years, the years. What if you used that time to write, to build, to train, to learn? Where would you? How much sharper, richer, more powerful would your life look? But here's the beautiful truth. It's not too late. Every moment from this one on is a chance to flip the script. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to fight. One day at a time, 1 hour at a time, 1 hour at a time. And every time you win, you become more you. This isn't about repression. It's about direction. You are not suppressing your urges. You are transmuting them. Taking that raw primal energy and turning it into workouts, into business, into art, into charm, into leadership. That's the real secret no one told you. That sexual energy is creative energy, and when you stop wasting it, your whole life becomes your canvas. Suddenly, your mornings are sharper, your confidence rises, you speak with certainty, you walk with intent. You attract people without even trying because you're grounded, disciplined, and clear. You stop being needy. You stop chasing. You start becoming. Women don't want a guy who spends his nights watching other men please strangers on a screen. It's on a screen. They want a man who is full of purpose, full of energy, full of confidence, and that fullness comes from one thing, self-mastery. You can still have intimacy. You can still have sex, but it will be real, earned, authentic, not fantasy, not plastic, not synthetic. And it will feel infinitely better because it's not just a dopamine spike, it's connection, meaning, victory. You've tried quitting before, you failed. That's okay, but this time, make it different. Don't just try to quit. Decide to evolve. Become the kind of man who doesn't need porn because he is too busy building a real life, because he is too committed to his health, his goals, his greatness to trade it for 5 minutes of silence and shame. The world is full of distractions. Algorithms designed to keep you weak, addicted, and obedient. But you can choose to wake up. You can rise above it. And the moment you do, everything changes. Your mind clears. Your goals become real. Your time becomes sacred. And every day you look in the mirror and see a man you respect. So in your respect. So next time that urge creeps in, pause. Remember this. You are not a slave. You are not a boy. You are a king in training. And kings don't kneel to pixels. Kings build empires. Let this be the moment you drew a line. No more empty highs. No more wasted time. No more surrendering your edge. Your future is watching. Make him proud. There's a truth most people are too scared to hear. But if you're willing to face it, if you really want to change your life, then let this truth sink in. You are slowly destroying your potential every time you give in. You think it's just a moment of stress relief, just a habit, a way to escape boredom, anxiety, loneliness. But behind the scenes, something far more dangerous is happening. You are weakening your mind, corrupting your confidence, training yourself to avoid real challenges. And you don't even realize it. You're not just watching porn. You're watching your ambition fade. True. You're watching your ability to connect with real people shrink. You're watching your discipline erode, one click at a time. You weren't born to be this way. You weren't born to sit in a dark room, chasing a synthetic high while the world passes you by. You weren't made to settle for a fake version of what you actually crave. Intimacy, power, respect, purpose. What you really want, what your soul aches for, can't be found in a screen. It lives in the life you're not living, the body you're not building, the dreams you're not chasing, and the man you're not becoming. Because let's face it, You don't feel proud after you do it. You feel dull, empty, quietly ashamed. You close the tab, close your eyes and say, "Why did I do that again?" You promise it's the last time, but it isn't, and it won't be. Not unless you wake up and realize what this habit is really costing you. It's costing you time, days and nights you'll never get back. It's costing you energy, energy that could be turned into muscle, into mastery, into leadership. It's costing you your edge, that fire inside that separates winners from watchers. You think you are releasing tension, but what you're really doing is training your body to expect reward without effort, and that kills the warrior in you. Your mind is supposed to crave challenge, victory, growth. But when you wire your brain to seek instant pleasure with no struggle, no courage, no meaning, you're becoming addicted to your own weakness. The longer you stay trapped in this loop, the more you lose your drive, the harder it becomes to focus, to speak up, to take risks, to lead. You become numb to opportunity, blind to possibility, and you don't even see it happening. That's the scariest part. It doesn't destroy you all at once. It eats you slowly, piece by piece, until one day you look in the mirror and don't even recognize who's looking back. But here's the truth you need to hear. You are not powerless. You are not broken. You are not hopeless. You are a man who forgot his own strength. But strength can be remembered. Discipline can be rebuilt. Momentum can be created. Right now. And it starts with a choice. A decision. A decision. Not to be perfect, but to be honest. Honest about the fact that this isn't serving you. It's robbing you. And you've had enough. There is a fire in you. A hunger. A deep ancient power. Waiting to be activated. It doesn't come from comfort. It doesn't come from comfort. It doesn't come from playing it safe. It comes from restraint, from challenge, from rising up every time your lower self tries to pull you back down. You don't need a life hack. You need a standard. You need to draw the line and say, "This is not who I am anymore." You are not some animal chasing dopamine for me. You are not a passive observer of life. You are a builder, a creator, a leader. And here's what they don't tell you. Semen is energy. Real, biological energy. The kind that sharpens your thinking, deepens your voice, strengthens your posture, boosts your testosterone, and lights up your presence. When you stop wasting it, you start radiating a new kind of power. People feel it when you walk into a room. You don't even need to say a word. You stand taller, you speak clearer, you stop chasing women. And they start noticing you. Why? Because you're no longer leaking your essence. Boo, Formke, leaking your essence. You've reclaimed it. This is not some superstition. It's biology, science, history. Every major culture, from ancient India to Rome to samurai Japan, knew this. They practiced retention not just for religious reasons, but because they discovered that conserving this energy gave men strength, clarity, command, and that's exactly what you're missing. When you're drained, foggy, uninspired, it's because you've emptied yourself. You gave your power away for nothing. You traded it for a 10-second escape that led you right back to the same empty place. But here's what happens when you stop. Your motivation returns. Your hunger comes back. Your emotions stabilize. You stop needing constant stimulation just to feel alive, because you are alive. You start making eye contact again. You take care of your body. Your work improves. Your discipline multiplies. And for the first time in a long time, you respect yourself. And that's the game changer. Diri to mean changer. Because nothing fuels a man more than self-respect. When you start seeing yourself as someone with control, with purpose, with vision, you stop tolerating the things that used to own you. So let's get practical. The next time the urge hits, and it will, I want you to stop. Breathe. Breathe. And ask yourself this question: what am I really hungry for? Because it's not sex, it's not release, it's connection, confidence, power, focus. And none of those things can be found on a screen. They're earned through struggle, through pain, through mastery. And every time you resist the urge, you become closer to the man who has those things. It's not easy, but that's exactly why it's worth it. Because men aren't made in comfort. They're forged in the fire of discipline. And if you want to be someone worth remembering, someone who builds, who leads, who inspires, then it starts with this decision. You will not be a slave to your urges. You will rise. You will fight. You will take back your mind, your body, your focus, your power, or focus, your power. You will stop living for the next hit of pleasure. You will start living for the next level of strength. And you will become the kind of man who doesn't need porn because he has purpose. The kind of man who wakes up hungry, who walks with certainty, who commands respect, not because of what he has, but because of who he is. It starts now. Let go of the lie, step into the fire, and take back the life that's waiting for you. This is your edge. Claim it.